How do organisms acquire the energy they require? How does the food you eat turn into the energy you use? These are the questions that we will answer in this review of Unit 4 of AP Biology. Part 1. Cellular Respiration. Most cellular energy is found in the form of ATP, short for adenosine triphosphate, which looks something like this. The bonds between the phosphate molecules store the energy of the molecule and can easily be broken to release energy. When the bond is broken, two molecules are formed, ADP and a phosphate, which can be recombined. The process of how cells recombine these two molecules to form ATP is called cellular respiration. To form ATP, cellular respiration uses oxygen and glucose and releases the byproducts of CO2 and H2O. There are three main stages of cellular respiration: glycolysis, the citric acid cycle, and the electron transport chain. Stage 1. Glycolysis. Glycolysis occurs in the cytosol and converts a 6-carbon glucose into 2 3-carbon pyruvate, while yielding only 2 net ATP. This occurs in two phases, an energy investment phase and an energy payoff phase, each of which involves 5 reaction steps. In the energy investment phase, a molecule of ATP is used to convert glucose into fructose, which is then split into 2 3-carbon molecules, with the addition of another molecule of ATP. In the energy payoff phase, 2 NAD+ molecules are reduced and 4 ATP are formed. The net result of glycolysis from one molecule of glucose is 2 pyruvate molecules, 2 ATP, and 2 NADH. Stage 2. The citric acid cycle. The citric acid cycle takes place in the mitochondria, once the pyruvate molecules cross the mitochondrial membrane. Each pyruvate molecule is first converted into a 2-carbon molecule of acetyl coenzyme A, acetyl-CoA, with the concurrent reduction of NAD+ to NADH and the production of one molecule of carbon dioxide. Acetyl-CoA then enters the citric acid cycle, which involves 8 steps and produces 2 molecules of CO2. During these 8 steps, energy is harvested from each acetyl-CoA as it is broken down, producing 2 molecules of carbon dioxide each, in the form of 3 molecules of NADH, 1 molecule of FADH2, and 1 molecule of ATP. Stage 3. The electron transport chain. The electron transport chain is a complex pathway involving a number of protein complexes known as cytochromes. Electrons that were captured in the form of NADH and FADH2 are transferred by redox reactions down a cascade. At the end of the electron transport chain, electrons from 2 NADH molecules are used to reduce 1 molecule of oxygen into H2O. If oxygen is not present, then effectively no energy is harvested at this stage. While electrons cascade down the electron transport chain, protons are pumped from inside the mitochondrial matrix into the intermembrane space, creating a high proton concentration. These protons are pumped back across the membrane by ATP synthase while concurrently phosphorylating ADP to produce ATP, in a process known as chemiosmosis. It is in this step that the largest amount of ATP is produced, and depending on how many electrons from NADH are shuttled, this final stage may produce anywhere from 32 to 34 ATP molecules. Part 2. Fermentation. To complete full cellular respiration, cells need oxygen. But glycolysis does not require oxygen, and when glycolysis is conducted without oxygen, anaerobic respiration occurs, aka fermentation. There are 2 types of fermentation: alcohol fermentation and lactic acid fermentation. In alcohol fermentation, each pyruvate will be converted to ethanol in 2 steps along with the generation of NAD+, which is then used in glycolysis. The first step produces a carbon dioxide, and the second step produces ethanol. In lactic acid fermentation, pyruvate will be converted to lactase directly through the oxidation of NADH. This kind of fermentation occurs in the first stages of strenuous exercise, when not enough oxygen is present in the muscle cells to burn. The lactate enters the blood and is carried to the liver, where it is converted back to pyruvate. Thank you for watching this video on Part 1 of Unit 4 of AP Biology. If you found this video helpful, please like. If you want to see the next part of this review series for AP Biology, please subscribe. If you have any questions, please comment them below.